Hey guys,
What's up?
welcome. Episode, what is it, 7? I think so.
Yes. 7.
How are you guys
Have a
doing on this
number.
wonderful day?
Hopefully well.
Hopefully well. We want to give a quick little shout out. Friends, we have 3 listeners in
Yeah.
South America.
Which is so wild.
We have 2 listeners in Bolivia. Granted, they only listened to
What?
episode 1 and then they dipped.
But it's fine. It's transcended North American borders.
Recently, I don't know after which episode dropped, but we have a listener in Guatemala.
That's
Shout out. How
That's
they're
so
finding
cool.
us, I don't know, but please, Guatemalans, share it. Please repost, follow, spread the word about ATC.
Please. We're not
And
begging,
we
we're
love
just
our
asking.
South American listeners.
Yeah.
So
That's
cool.
so fun. That's what I'm saying. Out of the USA, people are listening to us.
That's crazy. Actually crazy. Also,
We'll do a meet and greet there soon.
real.
Just kidding.
We finally have our audio down. I'm so sorry about episode 5.
Oh, yeah.
Without the music. We found, so I ended up having the original recording for episode 6 still. So I was able to go back and fix that one. So that one had our music intro. But for our episode 5 listeners, that was
She's
so
just
sad.
a little,
It was so
one-off.
sad.
But the content's still good, guys.
Oh, yeah. You,
You
just
know,
have
it's just the
to
intro.
get past the first 5 seconds
just
of
sing to
weird
yourself.
silence.
Like if you're, for some reason, you're listening to episode 7 before episode 5, now you know, as a
Now you
little
know.
warning, just sing to
But
yourself.
just a little bit of an apology. We are putting something out. Like, we put something out on social media to preface. So
Yeah.
people, like, because for me, I would think, like, why isn't it working?
Broken. Yeah. So
No,
then they're not
it was
going
just
crazy,
technical
like,
difficulties.
something's happening.
Somehow
We're trying out here.
somehow the music got muted and it just didn't work. But we're all good now. We figured it out.
Good. You know,
Figured it out.
things could be worse in
Always.
the ATC realm world.
Always.
Always. So that was just a random low tide. But now we can actually get into our
A real high and low
That was
tides.
just a little one-off. That was the intro was a little high and low tides. The Guatemala.
The ATC
Listeners
high and low
and
tides. But now I need to know Mia's.
Yeah, let's get personal with it. No, I would love to. Wait, do we just start with high and low? I feel like we've done this so many times that we should know.
Who cares?
All right, well,
I'd like to, let's start off with high.
Yeah.
Start off on a good note.
Why? Yeah, let's just end depressing.
Yeah.
No, my high tide, I don't know where the lightning will be when this comes out, but right now they're on a 2-game winning streak. So guys, they're going crazy. No, but they won 7-4 last night.
No, I remember because you said it at the pickleball courts, and I was like, that's crazy. I didn't know anything about it.
I
But
loved it because there was like so many like Lightning fans there. You know, there was like this like older man who's on the bench.
it wasn't a home game.
No.
Oh, okay.
We're on like the road right now, but there was like this older man on the bench, and he was so funny. I think one of the guys there, they had like their notifications on for like the Lightning game, and it had like an air horn whenever they won. So he'd go yes, and like get so excited, and then I'd be like, oh, like what happened? Like who got it? He's like, I don't know. He's like, I don't know what's happening. He had no clue what was happening the entire game, but he knew when they scored,
That's
and
amazing.
he was like keeping track in his head, I guess. So he was like 7-4, 6-4. I was like, love that. Anywho, but yeah, I'm really excited. If Lord willing, the Lightning go to the playoffs. The playoff watch parties, that's like peak my life. Like, I love the playoff watch
I've
parties.
never been to one.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. And even if you don't like hockey, where it's at, you know, Amalie Arena. Mm-hmm. It's that front. It's called like Thunder Alley or something, I think. And you get to like pull up chairs. They have like projectors. They have like a whole dance party.
Oh, it's like the legit watch
stage.
party, not like your own.
No, like I go to Amalie.
Oh.
I remember one year when we were like killing it. We literally won the Stanley Cup. We went to Amalie so much. You know when your like map gives you like recommendations on where to go? It's like, you want to go to Amalie? And I was like, you know me so well. Of course I do.
That's crazy.
But I'm so excited. I love Lightning watch parties. And especially that's when people start caring about hockey, you know, more. So then you're there. I just love sports events in general when everyone's like there for the same, you know, you're cheering for the same thing.
It's fun.
Just so fun. So my high tide is Lightning doing good. So then they can get in the playoffs. So then I can enjoy that. So
I
all
want
wrapped
that
up
for
in
you.
one.
I want that for you.
Me too.
My high tide, I kind of have like 2 little high tides for 2-for-1 combo deal.
BOGO.
So I don't know where we'll be by the time that this drops, but this was the first week Vlad and I made a GoFundMe to help raise money for our Ireland trip because that's expensive.
A little bit.
Within like less than a week, we've already raised like $700. So
That's amazing.
So grateful to everyone that has helped and has contributed. And I pray that God's going to provide and we'll be able to raise more so we can get there without me pulling my hair out and going gray, wondering how we're going to raise the money. But I believe that if God has called us to go on the trip, it's going to happen. So just have to have faith in that.
Yeah.
My other little low tide is that a friend of mine, Melanie, shout out Melanie, which is, I love that this is one of my high tides because I was telling you it ties in perfectly with
This
what we're talking about today, which I'm trying. I gotta maintain my excitement. I have to get a rein in. I gotta control the reins. But my friend Melanie sent me 2 books that are, both of them are like autobiographies written by 2 of my favorite CrossFit elite athletes, CrossFit Games athletes. One of them is Tia-Clair Toomey. She's the fittest woman on earth for 5 or 6 years in a row.
Oh my gosh.
She's actually, this is going to be her first, the 2024 games is going to be her first year back. Last year she took off because she had a baby. So she's
queen.
back now.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm so excited to see her postpartum journey and like where she's at. You know, the fact that she could make it to the games a year after having a baby is like just goes to show her level of fitness. And then the other book is written by Brooke Wells. Love her so much. So was it last year or the year before? 1 or 2 years ago. And I watched this live, not in person, but like they stream the CrossFit Games like on YouTube.
Yeah.
When it's happening. And during a heavy snatch event, she like, I don't know what happened. Like she like broke her elbow.
Oh my goodness.
And I saw it happen live and I was crying for her because she just looked like she was in so much pain and she's worked so hard, and like just to see like this is what they trained their whole lives for, and then to see that like go away is just really, really heartbreaking. And I feel that way, you know, for NFL, like when they, you know, they tear their ACL and, you know, you're kind of like, you're done at that point. Like, it's just so heartbreaking.
Everything they've worked so hard for. Yeah.
So she like tore something in her elbow or something like that. It was really painful to watch. And she's such, I mean, by what you see, you know, such a kind, sweet person. And anyway, so she wrote a book about her comeback because she is back now with a healed elbow and everything. Gosh, And so what just 2 amazing women, 2 totally different journeys, and different perspectives. But the Brooke Wells edition is signed by her. My friend literally went out of her way to get me the signed edition. So literally so emotional. By the time this drops, I hope to have read one of them. So, you know, maybe I'll come back with an update. Or? No, they're small.
Yeah.
So, and given the content, I don't think I'll have a problem getting through them.
Speed through it, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm really excited. And whenever I finish reading them, I'll make sure that I give the update. But that was a really, really big high tide. So.
No, that is such a high tide. I love that. You're just getting all the gifts lately. Look at you. I love that for you so much.
Thank you to everyone.
Just everyone that's ever given you a gift ever. So now to get depressing. On a low note. On a low tide. Guys. So Hannah... I swear, Hannah is changing my life in, you know, so many good ways. So, she taught me this game.
It's
the
stupid.
Tesla game.
Which
Again,
I learned
praise God, this is my low tide, but also
Real.
I'm angry. So, she taught me this game, the
Which
Tesla
I
game.
have to give credit to who I learned it from, because I learned it from friends who have a kid, and we were hanging out with them, and they were doing the Tesla game, and I was like, there's a Tesla game? And they were like, yeah, there's no more punch buggies on the road. So now they do Tesla, and I was like, I never thought of it like that. Like the kids these days aren't growing up with punch buggy; they're growing up with Tesla game, which is actually crazy. But just quick little make sure credit is given where credit is due.
Of course. But yeah, so the Tesla game. If you see a Tesla, you gotta say the color then the Tesla. It's like red Tesla, white Tesla, whatever.
And you get points.
Yes. And
if you see a car and you say like black Tesla and it's not a Tesla, you lose a point.
Yeah.
Which is more dicey at nighttime. Because there are like some like Porsches.
They look
the
similar.
lights like they're similar. And like so many cars, even like I think Kia, some other cars are creating cars that look just like Teslas. So at night... It gets a little dicey up there. Yeah, you got to be careful. You almost have to wait until it's like right there in front of you to really know.
Yeah, which just.
But granted, if you see it passing by and no one's able to see if it's a Tesla or not, you'll get the point.
That is true.
But yeah,
a little sneaky. But yeah, so as fun of a game as it is, I guess it's a high tide. But I am losing. I lose every single card I've been with Hannah. I'm like literally talking. I don't know. She has like an eye for it. It really stresses me out.
It's the ADHD. My therapist told me how
Maybe I suck at
ADHD
it.
can actually be a superpower, because if you don't know, a lot of people think ADHD is the inability to focus, but it's actually hyperfocus. So people with ADHD focus on too many things all at one time, so it's hard to focus on one single thing. But so that's why I can have a conversation and we're driving, but then I see a Tesla.
See all the Teslas, and I'm like,
that's why
I wasn't even looking. I forgot what we were doing.
It's my ADHD superpower,
Bro,
because I'm able to focus on that.
Yeah, well, I love that so much for you, but I'm yet to win a game, and that's my low tide. And I say, I talk crap too. I'm like, oh, this car ride, you're going down. I literally get maybe one on a good day.
She literally, guys, she
one
texted
standing
me
right there.
right before coming over to record these episodes. She texted me. She was like, hey, I'm hungry. We should go get food. And I was like, yeah, I'll go with you. And she was like, okay, just letting you know, if we go together, get ready to play the Tesla game. I'm about to dominate. And I was like, game on.
I think I literally got one that was like right next to me, like the most obvious one ever. And I think you gave me that one, but yeah, guys, I'm working on it. That's my new training.
I'm gonna just be like, it's so funny.
Looking at Tesla pictures before I go to sleep, like memorize what they look like from afar, from up close, the backs, the sides.
What gets me so happy about it is that like there are types of people that won't have fun and play these games. But I'm competitive and I like to play any kind of game, and whatever it is, I'll take it very seriously. So like it's so much fun to play with someone who is just as into it as you are.
Games.
Like, you know, because like supposed to be the person where I'm like, red Tesla, and they're like, I don't even care. I'm not even playing. I'm like, okay, stupid. I'm just gonna go jump off the bridge. That's cool. My low tide. What did I say my low tide was? I can't even remember. Oh my gosh, I just remembered. Oh, the secondhand embarrassment is coming in strong. All right, you guys, listen. I'm exposing myself here. Anybody that is close to me knows that the Blend is one of my favorite places. If you don't know what the Blend is, get your life together. Unless you are one of our South American listeners, then you have no business. Or if you're one of our listeners not in Florida, then you don't know what it is. But it's a local coffee shop, but they've actually expanded now. They have a lot of locations in like the Tampa Bay area. And they're delicious. Now, while I do love coffee, I don't get coffee there. They have these drinks called Bullseyes, where it's basically Red Bull and with flavoring and stuff, and they're delicious. Anyway, so I go through no, I shouldn't even say it's a phase. I've been doing this for like over a year now, but I go to the Blend a lot, and especially because my birthday was, a couple weeks ago, but I have gift cards, right? So, because people know me, so they got me Blend gift cards. So, I've been going, and I go so much to the same location where like they know me now. That's not so when I don't go in person. They know me by my voice and by what I order.
Like, Hannah.
They're like, they literally, so I'll order and they'll go, this is Hannah, right? And I'm like, yeah. To the point where my husband orders it so much for me. Today when we went, they were like, this is Vlad, right?
Oh my gosh.
Like, that's the kind of level that we're talking about.
Wow. What customer service, though?
Honestly.
Not knowing,
but here's the low tide part. So not only do I get this, but they have these protein ball snacks, okay? So it's like the protein balls, they're delicious. They have protein in them. They're honestly quite a filling snack, too, because they have, like, peanut butter, like, really heavy fillings, and, like, oats and stuff. And they're so, so good. And it's kind of like a thing now. Like, it's a duo. Like, I get the drink, I start craving that snack, and vice versa. So, a while ago, the owner told me that the business that they buy the protein balls from is going out of business. And that, like, they bought a bunch to, like, stock up on, but eventually there's going to be a day when they run out. And I've been trying to mentally prepare myself for this moment. As long as I have the Bullseye, I'll be okay.
Right.
But, like, that, it's going to hurt, right? So it was yesterday, I believe, I went to the Blend and I ordered the same thing. I get my Bullseye and I get my protein, and the owner was there, and she's so kind, and she was like, hey, like, we only have like 50 of these left. You might want to start like getting some in advance, put them in the freezer. They last for a long time. And I was like, yeah, I know that this day is coming. She was like, I've been searching all over to get with another brand, for different protein ball snacks. And she was like, this one company told me that they might be ready in 3 months, but I said, Hannah doesn't have 3 months.
Hannah doesn't have 3 months.
Do you know how embarrassed I felt that she's making a business decision based off of me? Because I'm pretty sure I'm the only freaking person that orders these. The other people that order them are people that are friends with me that I've told them about them. Because you don't see them on the menu. You only see the protein balls if you go in person to see it like in their
so
little display window. So if you're in the drive,
told them.
so yeah, right. I'm like, oh, they must have, but I literally, I was so embarrassed.
That's so
I was like,
funny.
oh my, low tide immediately. Like if there was like, like the easy buttons, if there were buttons around me, like I would immediately low tide right then and there.
Yeah.
Store it in the database.
It's considerate though. You can kind of flip it a little bit.
Oh my gosh, it was so nice.
Yeah.
Again, crazy customer service. But also
getting more
the fact that
you're
like you think of me. Like
why not be what I want on my gravestone?
Like, I need to reevaluate my life and my decisions.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh.
So, and I might have to start making my own when they run out, unless they find a good replacement.
Dang, can you like find the company that made them? Like get the recipe. Like you just.
I tried to look on their website and I couldn't find them. I have made at-home protein balls before and they were pretty good. Not as good as the ones from the blend, but I definitely could do it. And they're not difficult to make. I'm just lazy.
Yeah, I feel that.
I'm just lazy.
I probably wouldn't.
Anyway, guys.
Yeah. Then you wouldn't get the whole blend experience though too.
I know.
Yeah, if you go and get your protein balls here.
Yeah, it's just a lot.
Well,
we're gonna get into our mana. Those were our high and low tide. You did your low tide, right? Yeah.
Luckily, our low tides weren't.
They weren't too bad.
They weren't too.
Life is good. Life is good. Full of blessings. Stay blessed.
Praise God.
I always think of the guy from New Girl. Stay blessed.
Stay blessed.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So friends, our mana. So everything today is going to be from this point on talking about strength and CrossFit. We all knew it was going to happen.
We all
there was going to be a CrossFit episode. It's also definitely not going to be the last.
No.
There's a lot of different topics within gym culture, CrossFit, things like that we can talk about, that we will talk about in the future. But today we just wanted to start off with like, why CrossFit? Mm-hmm. Why did I choose that sport? Kind of like my background with it and why I absolutely love it as much as I do.
Yeah.
And then, which I hinted about that I think in like our very first episode. Yeah, like how... But to get into it a little bit deeper. And then for Mia to talk about her CrossFit experience because she has been with me 3 times. We're going to go again.
I was going to say the perfect timing. We're literally going after we record a couple episodes. Mm-hmm. We're going to go. I get to be the buddy.
Yep. So every first Friday of the month, my gym has a buddy day where you can bring friends and family with you to get a free CrossFit workout so they can just see what it's like, get a taste of the community and what the kind of workouts are. We don't do anything too intense, movement wise, but it's going to be so much fun. So she's been with me 3 times. Yeah. Like she went with me the first time and then she was like, okay, like first Fridays, like let me know. So I always tell her on like the first Friday when it's going to be buddy day. So we were like, oh my gosh, it's Friday. Let's record and let's go to CrossFit together while we record our CrossFit episode. Yeah. But our mana, to backtrack a little bit, there's 2 verses that I chose that I think go perfectly. So there's Proverbs 31:17. Now this is more shout out to my girlies because we all know that like it's a very known thing that men are physically strong. You know, they're biologically set up to be stronger than women on a biological standard. However, there has become a culture where we think that women cannot and should not be strong, which I could get into that, but that's just not true. And even scripture itself says in Proverbs 31:17, talking about, this is the part of Proverbs where it talks about the noble wife, which I love that Proverbs lives of what it is. It basically sets like the ultimate standard of what we want to live up to as a wife, when you're a godly wife. So it says, she sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her tasks. And for me, it's like, it talks about in that portion of scripture, you know, the things that a wife does and how hard that she works and that she should be eager to work and her arms are strong for her tasks. That's not talking about like emotional strength, spiritual strength, strength we get from God. It's like, no, she's a hard worker and her arms are strong for her tasks. So it's like, and we have so many examples of strong women in different facets throughout scripture. But I truly believe that scripture is well-rounded where we should be strong in every area. Yes. We should be strong spiritually in our faith. We should be strong emotionally and strong of character, strong-minded, right? Like how can you go against the against culture if you're weak and you're weak-minded?
You can't stand your ground.
And you can't stand your ground. Every time that like a wave comes, you're getting knocked over and you're following with wherever the current is flowing, you're going with it too. Yeah. Right? So we have to be strong. Now, we're weak all the time, but that's the beauty in our faith, is that we allow God's strength to work through us.
Creates that reliance
Yes.
needed, yeah.
But there's also a part where I believe that we should be physically strong, because if you could just look at the science alone and the health benefits of it, and then in 1 Corinthians 6:19, it says our bodies are temples.
Yep.
We are not our own. God designed us and gave us these bodies, and I believe that we are to take care of it. And that is also a sign of strength and discipline. And scripture talks about discipline all the time. Like, you are not to be someone that just gives into your flesh at any desire,
Right.
but to be able to wake up, get that workout in, push yourself, be strong. And then it's also like longevity, your health, being able, like, you can do so many things better when you are strong and healthy,
Right.
you know, to be on this life, to be on this earth and live life longer. You know, I think for me, I think of whenever the day I have grandkids, I want to be able to play with them.
Yep.
You know, I want to have
Like,
quality
take care of
of
your body
life
now.
and take care.
Yeah.
Yes. Because it does matter down the road, and you do reap long-term consequences, both good and bad, depending on the choices that you make now.
Right.
And, you know, so I do think that both men and women are called to be strong. And the thing is that for women, like, we have just as much ability to be strong like men do. We might not be able to lift as heavy sometimes, lol. There's a lot of men that I can outlift though. But you know, there
flex.
is, I don't like it when, like, some people ignore the fact that men biologically are set up. Like,
Right.
God designed them with their strengths, and
Right.
strength is one of those strengths, lol. They also have more testosterone, which is just, like, women don't have as much of that, you know, so there are scientific points. But don't let that make you think that women can't be strong.
Right.
You know, I know so many women that are stronger than men. Do we have to work harder for it? Yeah, we do. But, like, awesome. Like, get to work then. And, you know, have your arms be strong for the tasks that you have set out for yourself. So that, just to kind of set up and preface where I want to go with the conversation about how important it is to be strong in every facet. And I think sometimes, like, Christians, you know, yes, we, like, allow God to be strong through us. Let's be strong spiritually. Let's be strong in our faith. Let's be of strong mind. But also, like, let's not neglect our bodies.
Yeah. Like,
You know?
that's a way to honor the Lord, is with
100%.
the body that he gave you. It's like just being a good steward over what God has given you, those blessings.
And, you know, it's one of the best ways to just put discipline into your life. And I just think that the benefits, I just don't understand how people can't, you know what I mean? Besides the fact, unless you're weak-minded, to not be able to have enough discipline in your life, you know, to do those
Build
things.
that other strength, yeah.
Yeah. And obviously this goes without saying, but I think for most of our topics, like, we all know that there's exceptions to every rule, right? Like, people with disabilities, you know,
Of course.
illness, things like that. That's not what we're talking about. We're just talking overall and in general. But so to get into our topic today, talking about why CrossFit,
How
because
you have found a way to strengthen your
I did.
your arms.
Well, because the thing is that through the gym, I mean, it was all blessed and ordained by God, first of all. But through the gym is when I started to make, through CrossFit, it was when I started to make the big changes in my life spiritually, to get stronger mentally and getting stronger physically.
Right.
So it was back in 2019. My husband wasn't my husband at the time, but Vlad had been doing CrossFit for about 6 months. And the reason he got started was because he is a firefighter. And in order to get in shape for that job, CrossFit is one of the best ways to do that. Because it is a combination of lifting heavy and heavy cardio.
Yeah.
And you're not working out in AC. So think of firefighting. It's hot. You are
get
getting your
used to
heart
that,
rate
yeah.
up super high, and you're wearing like 60 to 80 pounds of gear while carrying
gosh, yeah.
ladders and, you know, all this equipment and stuff,
Insane.
and being able to perform with that. So CrossFit is a kind of a really good parallel element. So that's why he got started, because at that time he was becoming a firefighter. He wanted to be in
Right.
shape for the job.
Right.
Which is so, so important. So it was about 6 months later. Now this is peak eating disorder for me. This was when I was at my lowest of the low. Like, had I kept going on the path I was on, I would have been like put in the hospital eventually. It was bad. And not in a good place spiritually. Not, this was the point where, like, again, never went through a rebellious phase, but I was avoiding God out of shame and guilt, right? So I was weak spiritually. I was weak mentally, for sure. And I was weak physically. Like, absolutely no muscle. I had barely anything on me, and I was like withering away. And when you're at that level, you have such bad brain fog. So like you're not able, your brain and body cannot function. You're not able to function at a high level. So it was May of 2019. So I had just moved back home for the summer because semester had ended, spring semester had ended. So I'm back home for the summer, and obviously Vlad, knew how much I was struggling. And growing up and in high school, I always did sports. And when I went to college, I wasn't a part of a sport anymore. And Vlad was like, hey, like, I've been doing CrossFit and I think you would really like it. He was like, I know that you're hurting and you're struggling, but like you used to do sports and be active and all that kind of stuff. And you used to love it and you don't have that anymore. Like maybe you miss it and maybe that could help you. And I was like, maybe.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And at the time, guys, like I can't, like, this is why I know and believe that people can definitely change, because I am not the same person that I was. I was such a negative, nasty person, like bitter, I guess I could say. Like I had a negative attitude towards everything. I was very pessimist, if that makes sense. Just very hopeless, with me and my situation. And I was like, yeah, maybe. I was also queen of excuses. So, and I'll get into that in a little bit, but Vlad was like, my CrossFit gym, he was like, they do buddy days. Like, you should come with me. And, I think he had been trying to get me to go for a while and I said no. And then I was home. So I didn't really have an excuse not to. So I went to him and I was like, well, I'm not doing this and I'm not doing this because my knees hurt. And I had a knee injury, from swimming in high school. And I wasn't grasping the state that I was in, but the reason I couldn't do all of these things was because I wasn't taking care of myself and my body was physically weak, and it's easier to get injured when you're weak, and a lot of the issues that I had went away when I gained muscle and I actually started like feeding my body the way that it needs to. So, I was like, I can't run because I'll get bad knee pain. I can't squat because I literally could not do a single body weight air squat, and because it would hurt my knees. So I was like, I can't do this. And he was like, Hannah, there's a coach there. Like, everything will be fine. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. So I remember, and I had been to the gym before just to sit and wait for Vlad to finish working out. And my first experience walking into a CrossFit gym was, I am intimidated. Yeah. I remember seeing her, I'm actually friends with her now, but like, a sports bra, shorts, lifting a heavy barbell over her head and dropping it on the floor. And I was like, whoa, that will never be me. I was like, I will never be that strong. I will never be that cool. Like, that's so intimidating. Like, what? But everyone was always so nice to me. So nice to me. And so, I go and everyone was so nice and the coach was so nice. And she actually still coaching now, Coach Andy, she's awesome. And I do this workout, and looking back, it was such an easy workout. It was not hard at all. And halfway through, I almost passed out. It was 4 p.m. I hadn't eaten. And here I am doing this high intensity workout in no AC with no food. And I have not worked out in months. Yeah. What was I thinking? Yeah. So the coach sits me under a fan and she comes up to me and she was like, have you eaten today? And I was like, no. And she looked at me and she looked at Vlad and she was like, you're going to finish the workout for her. And when you're done, you're going to take her to get a Gatorade and Chipotle. I was like, okay. So again, everyone was so nice to me. And I was like, heavy breathing. I haven't done this in a long time. And we leave. And I got like almost like that runner's high. Like I felt, once my body, like my heart rate got down, I felt so good. I had not moved like that in so long. And I remember telling Vlad, I was like, I feel really good right now. I really liked that. And he was like, I'm willing. Now, the only downside to CrossFit is it's expensive. Yeah. And he was like, I'm willing to pay for your membership for you because I think this could be really good for you, but you have to go at least 3 times a week. And I was like, 3 times a
Three
week?
times, that's crazy.
I'm not doing that. I have work. I have this. I'm not going to have the time. Again, queen of excuses. And Vlad was like, you can say all the excuses you want 3 times a week or I'm not paying for it because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
Like, that's a minimum,
fair.
you know?
Yeah.
It was totally fair. And I was like, oh, fine. I ended up going like 5 to 6 days a week, like on my own, right? But I remember we got the Gatorade, so good. Got the Chipotle, so good. And so that's when it all started. And from that point, I started to eat more and actually eat in general because I had to. So, to fuel my body. And it started to make me realize that like my body needs fuel and I need to be fueling it properly for my workouts so I can go to the gym. So that was when like I finally started to like put on some weight that I needed to, and I was starting to get stronger, and these issues that I had with my knees practically vanished once I started to build up the muscles in my legs. My body had no cushion. Like it was, it was not good. So, and I always say that, I think I mentioned this in the first episode, that I think it was a God thing, because CrossFit, I would say CrossFit, powerlifting, and like any of the strongman type of fitness realms are some of the only ones that encourage women to be big and to be strong. And it's not about being as tiny as possible. And if I would have found any of those other routes, I don't know where I would be today, and that's why I felt like it was such a God thing. And to this day now, 5 years later, I mean, I am the healthiest that I've been. I'm the strongest that I've been. I've been rehabbing this injury it's almost like, praise God, it's almost like fully healed. Yeah. I'm actually competing. Well, this episode will have already been dropped by the time that my comp was over, but I'm getting back into things, and the community has just always been so strong and so good. And CrossFit genuinely ordained by God, God set up, but through the sport, I found healing. And it was because not only did I get physically stronger, but that made me get mentally strong. And that made me motivated to beat this eating disorder, which I'm still, for some people, when it comes to stuff like this, it's a lifelong battle, but I'm healthy, and I've gone through the thick of it, I would say. Ooh, I'm so sorry. I just knocked my headphones over. Gone through the thick of it. And I've gotten mentally stronger and having healthy discipline, because for a long time I had too much for the wrong reasons. So having healthy discipline, and that has strengthened my relationship with God even more, because while I know that God did not give me the eating disorder, he's going to use it for his glory and everything that I've gone through. And realizing that I don't need to have any shame or guilt. Amen. And I can go to him with this and lay it at his feet and have him take care of it and take care of me. Right. And I just want to continue to get better about honoring my body and appreciating it for what it can do. Right. When we live in a culture that's all about what you look like. Right. So that's kind of that's kind of the shortest version I can give about how I got started and why it's so important to me. Yeah. But you have done CrossFit now for 3 times. Yeah. So I want to hear what your experience is as someone who is not an avid CrossFitter, but you've done it, and comparing it to your previous gym experiences, how it's different. Because I can talk about after, my previous gym experiences when I was in college and I hadn't started CrossFit yet, but to someone more from an outside perspective versus someone who's definitely biased
about a little bit
about the sport.
Yeah. No, I definitely, before I even get into my experiences with CrossFit, just even this past 3 recent times, kind of what my gym experience has looked like. So I think I first started going to the gym when I was in like 7th grade. Okay. Because that's when I was in Massachusetts. I think I've talked about that a little bit. For my 7th and 8th grade year, I lived in Cape Cod. And like as amazing as a place it is, there was like really not much to do, especially in like the winter time. Like everything closes. Yeah. It's crazy. Like that's one of those places that's for the rich people. They just go there in the summers. Right. So in the winter, it's like a ghost town. Like everything closes down. So you really...
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. Because it is it's a popular place. It's not like you're in the middle of nowhere, but just like with that culture in the Northeast and stuff, everything was closed. So all we did was like Walmart in the gym. Like that was our...
That was it.
That was our lives for 2 years.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's even... So obviously the gym wasn't like, oh, when I move there, that's what I want to do for fun. But my dad got really into it at the time. You know, we had got like this, like the family membership thing. So we would go, and from the start, like I just kind of like, it was like, oh, the gym, that's kind of fun. You know, you see on like social media, like all the gym girlies. It was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely a gym rat, guys. It's great. And so then I went there just with my dad, and just like me and my mom would just like follow his workout sort of thing. It was just like one of those like cycles, whatever. We did that for a long time, and I don't know. That was just very like, okay, whatever. It's just something to do. That's kind of how I first thought of it. It was something to do. It wasn't whatever.
Pass the time.
Exactly. Until, you know, eventually I got kind of bored of that. It was just like that, whatever. So I was like, okay, we're going to the gym anyway. I don't have anything else to do. Let me see how I can like kind of switch it up almost. So then I would go on like my own, you know, and I would just do like all of like the Instagram workouts and stuff. And I don't know, that definitely, I think you've kind of talked about before, just that being my only source of how I'm moving my body is just what I see others doing. That turned into a lot of just comparison in general. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, or they could move their body in like certain ways where I had so much trouble with, or like their sets and stuff, because they have like that whole workout and like the sets and stuff, and it was like almost, you know, you're beating yourself down about that.
Because you can't do that yet, but you are comparing yourself to someone else who's been doing and working out for years.
Yeah, who that's their whole livelihood. Like that's what they're posting online. That's whatever. So, you know, I definitely struggled with that. And I remember I was just constantly like searching, like, because obviously we're going to the gym and I wanted to like the gym so badly. So once I, you know, doing it with my dad didn't work, and, you know, I was doing it myself, and I wasn't like, I gave up very quickly. Like when it came to the gym, I would say like I definitely was like just like out of there as soon as something didn't work. So as soon as like Instagram, you know, videos weren't doing me good, you know, giving me that BBL look. Oh, so annoying. It's so funny too, because that's the workout. Like abs, six pack, and big butt. That's all I want. Like whatever. It's literally all about looks, like you were saying. That is a very big thing in kind of the
it's all about
fitness culture. Exactly. And that's kind of where I was looking for. I was like, this is crap. Get this out of my face. And so then I would just be like, all right, I guess we're just gonna go there. And then I was like, again, we're just killing time, so I would just go on the treadmill and stuff, or you know, just try different machines. Like literally then I had no point. I was just going to do things. And you know, you'd think from, again, an outside perspective, that'd be almost more fun. You know, you're just kind of going and chilling. But that was probably the worst time when I was like in that gym experience, is because I don't know what it was, but it was just like the lack of structure. Again, this was a little bit ago. I don't remember the exact things, but it was just me going around. I remember there's this one specific ab machine that like I couldn't do. It was like this new one, and I was getting so frustrated with it. Like I literally was like crying in the gym. Like my middle school hormones. Like I've cried in the gym like multiple times. It was this specific Planet Fitness, and I was just like,
I hate Planet Fitness.
All my gym experiences of Planet Fitness.
That is good. I'm gonna have to. You know what? We're gonna have to do an episode of gyms I love and hate. Why I hate Planet Fitness.
Why I hate Planet Fitness.
Sorry, Planet Fitness. Actually, no, I'm not. You suck.
What about that judgment-free zone? Dang.
That's the thing, is they're one of the most judgmental gyms.
No,
I'm not going to get into it now.
But that was the gym. So to picture it,
but I understand. My only exception is there are people that live in areas where that is the only gym available. Right. That's different.
Right.
But if you have the choice, don't choose.
Real.
They're going to come after me.
They're going to come after me. Lawsuit. No, but that definitely was the only gym. That was just kind of like, again, we were a family. We didn't know what the heck was going on.
Right.
They make it seem very enticing.
At one point, I had a Planet Fitness membership because I didn't know.
It's true. Like, it's just kind of a clueless.
And it's cheap. Whatever. And Crunch wasn't really a thing.
They have free pizza on Fridays.
Oh my, don't even. Like, Crunch wasn't really a thing, and there wasn't anyone, like, by us yet. And then, like, the only other option is, like, LA Fitness and
the price differences are insane.
Oh yeah, and then there's another one, Anytime Fitness, and it's like at least $40 a month. Yeah, and I was a high school student, so I was like, I'm not paying for that. I'm paying $10.
Yeah. No, that's so true. But yeah, so in Planet Fitness, I was just kind of doing my thing, you know, and I remember literally just like crying, because I was like, this is not like working. I'm not like doing anything, you know what I'm saying? I don't have like the results, but I have to be here anyway, because that's just what we did. And I was like, I can't find what I enjoy. Like I just hate being there. That's pretty much it. I remember then I went through a phase after that where I was like, okay, now I really don't care. I was making up my own workouts. Like I remember my sister, when she lived with us for a little bit, we were there, she was like recording me, because I was just there for fun at that point, you know, like those little bouncy balls. Like I was making up games. They probably literally hated me, but I was like, this is great. Definitely
just be lucky that they have people still willing to give them money.
No, honestly. we're just like, all right, let her do her thing. But yeah, so there's really no benefit coming from there. So then after we moved, I had like a horrible like idea of the gym because I just hated my time there.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't enjoyable. So I can't even like speak to like the actual fitness components. Like I had necessarily any bad experiences with the workouts I was doing because I never found like an actual.
Yeah, you didn't. So what it sounds like is, number one, you didn't have a program or a plan.
No,
which
I was just going on
that will completely like. You're not going to get results if you don't have a consistent plan with progressive overload, and you also didn't enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy what you're doing, that's the number one.
Yeah.
You don't enjoy it, like you're not going to be consistent if you don't enjoy it.
Right.
And not that you have to like, not that I'm like just having a great time when I'm dying of sweat in a workout, but I genuinely love those style of workouts, working out like that. You have to find... Like, don't get me wrong. There are times where, like, you're going to have discipline, like, right? Because I believe that every single person should lift weights to some degree. You don't have to go all out and go super heavy, but everyone should lift weights to some degree. But you need to be able to find the fashion and facet in which you genuinely enjoy, or you're not going to show up. And if you don't show up, then what's the point?
Right. It's true.
And you didn't have either of those.
No, so it was just not a good time, And
you didn't really have a good role model. You know, like you're going based off of Instagram models.
Yeah, that's
where
what
a lot
saying,
of that stuff is, number one, photoshopped, or they've been doing it for years, right? So, of course, their results are going to look crazy different.
Yeah.
Or they actually do have surgery, and they're making you think that doing their workout is going to get you that when it won't.
Insane. Yeah. So there's really no just good foundation there at all whatsoever.
Right.
And then, you know, coming back to Florida, it was one of those things where I always knew, like, the whole being active, and it wasn't even necessarily like I wanted to... At this point, I was like, all right, this is obviously, you know, struggling with, like, body image and stuff, like, wanting to look a certain way. But it was also just the point of, like, I would, like, go up the stairs and I'd be, like, winded, you know? And so I'd be like, oh, I'm so out of shape, which is a little hard, too, because they're, like, you're literally not. But it was just, like, I just wasn't, like, I couldn't do that. I'm not even, again, not to the point where... Yeah. You know, is ideal, but just like going upstairs, like just little things like would literally tire me. Like walking up a hill, I was like, oh, exhausted, guys, you know? So I was like, all right, let's get a little handle on things. So I remember just trying like different things. So there was like YouTube videos at home, there was like the yoga, random crap, like just going for walks. But then also I lived in like the sketchy neighborhood, so I wasn't like allowed to go for walks like by myself. So it was like a little tricky figuring that out. And I was like, all right, maybe, you know, I'm a little older now. This is even more recently. But I got the Planet Fitness membership again, a little closer. And I was like, all right, let me actually do my own thing. Maybe if I have... Or
how old are you now at this point?
I'm probably 17. Okay. It's only like a year ago.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, let me try to figure out my life again. So I was like, let me if I go with a plan, if I go, you know, knowing what I did wrong the first time, like it'll be great. I probably went like, I think the first week I went like twice. And then after that, I think I went like once a month and then just stopped. And I literally gave Planet Fitness so much money. That's what I hate too, because they make it such a big deal to cancel. And again, they took advantage of my laziness, having to go all the way down there. And I was like, oh, they're going to be so much crap for it. Like, I don't want to cancel it. So I literally went months having this stupid Planet Fitness membership and never canceled it. I finally built up the motivation, finally canceled it. Because again, that just did nothing for me. Yeah. So yeah, that was kind of like my gym experience. So it really was nothing. Like it was me like knowing kind of what I wanted to do. Right. And like the idea of like wanting to move my body, or even if it was the bad parts, like wanting to look a certain way. Like I like definitely was attracted to the gym in certain ways, but I just never knew. I think that was a big thing. It's just like not knowing. And then it was really...
And that's one of my biggest like beefs, which I want you to talk about your experience that you had with CrossFit, but to add on to that point, because that is one of my only issues with the like $10 a month gym is because like a lot of people, you know, with the argument of like CrossFit is so expensive, and I'm like, it is, but that doesn't mean you're not getting your money's worth, right? So it's like you're paying for $10 for a gym membership, but the problem is majority of the people that are going don't know what they're doing. So you're only paying $10, but it's literally going down the drain for a lot of people because you don't know how to program. You don't know how to... Yeah.
You lose that discipline quickly.
You don't know... You don't have a plan, and you don't know how to make one. Yep. And right then and there, even if you have the discipline to go, if you're not consistent and you don't have a good plan, you're not going to get results. Yeah. right? And then when
exactly
you
it for
don't
me,
get
yeah.
results by 3 months in, then you're going to get
give up.
disheartened and you're going to give up and you're going to quit. Versus like with CrossFit, yeah, you're paying a lot of money a month, but it's coach led with you're paying for programming too. So it's like, you know that there's going to be results.
Right.
And I also just like it because no part of CrossFit is based on how you look. The
That's
competitions
huge,
aren't based on how you look. No one actually cares what the heck you look like. It's all about what you can do.
Your strength, yeah.
Versus some sports like bodybuilding, those people, I might be able to outlift them on some things. It doesn't matter if they literally
They have that look, yeah.
they can't, perform in a certain way. It doesn't matter because they look good. And I just, that's going to be a whole, why I hate bodybuilding. That's going to be a whole
we have
nother
why
episode.
I hate fitness, why I hate bodybuilding.
Yeah. My Hannah's hate series.
We have a new segment. What Hannah hates.
What Hannah hates. There's a long
That's
list.
funny.
Bodybuilding being almost at the top. So besides Satan himself, who created bodybuilding. No, but
gosh.
yeah, it's just, CrossFit there, and I could get into that later about all the different, reasons why you're getting your money's worth, but programming and having a coach to ensure that you're doing the movements right and you're doing
huge.
them correctly,
Right.
because not only does that prevent injury, but it also you will get results if you're doing the movements right. If you don't do a movement right, you're not going to get the optimal results of that movement,
Right.
And paying for, like, if you look at personal training from one coach, I think it's like probably $60 a session. So you have 2 sessions, you're paying $120 a month. That is like $30 less than like a typical CrossFit membership a month, but you're paying like, say, $150 for an entire month, and it's coach led every single day that you go.
Yeah.
Is it one-on-one? No, but you're still making sure that like you have a coach that's leading you through the program.
It's almost good that's not that one-on-one, because then, like you were saying, that community, like
exactly, the community is huge. Yes. And there's someone there to make sure that you're safe, someone there to give you the right advice on how to attack a workout and a movement. So you're actually going to get results. So it's like you can pay $10 every single month to go down the drain and not get anything. Now, obviously that doesn't apply to everybody. There are people there that do know what they're doing and they can pay $10 a month, they can get results, and they enjoy that kind of gym environment. I could go and I know what I'm doing, but I don't enjoy that gym environment. And I don't enjoy doing solely bodybuilding-esque workouts every day. I think bodybuilding movements to isolate muscle groups are super important and necessary and should be a part of people's workout routine, but I cannot only do that every single day. I get so bored.
Yeah.
CrossFit is constantly varied. We're doing something different every day. There's so many different types of workouts and movements and combinations, and it's so much fun, where I never get bored. And you never have, like, you always have something to work on.
Right.
And I love that. Because it's like,
you never just get stuck.
You're never
hit
gonna,
that limit. Yeah. And then going into kind of how that transitioned into, or at least my past gym experience, is how, I mean, like you kind of touched on it a little bit, but just the huge drastic difference of, CrossFit and then just normal gym stuff.
It's very
I'm not even saying anything just because we're having this CrossFit episode, but genuinely, like, so obviously, the first time I went, the only CrossFit knowledge, like, I had none.
Right.
And it was just from, like, your stories. Like, it was literally just from, like, what you posted.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, looks a little scary, a little nervy. But, going in, I think it also helps, like, you being, like, the kindest person ever. And I was like, all right, if Hannah's there, I'm chilling. Like, I remember you even texting me. You were like, you got it. Like, literally, we'll take it, like, take it slow. I was like, okay. Literally,
because I've had, like, friends before, because it's, amazing. Like, they know that, obviously, I work out on a daily basis, and, like, they get worried because the buddy day workouts are normally partner, and they're like, well, I'm going to slow you down. And I'm like, honey, that is not what I'm here for.
Yeah.
This is not a competition. Saying. Like, I'm here to have a good time with you and to share something that I love with other people that I think every single person on the planet benefits from, could benefit from. And it's like, I'm going at your pace. Like, you do not need to worry about the kind of workout I'm getting in.
Right.
Like, I'm not, literally, it's the last thing I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
And I know how, because that was me, I know how scary and intimidating that environment is. So I want to try to make it as comfortable as possible, because it can be super intimidating.
Yeah. So when I say literally made the whole experience 1,000 times better, just having you there, and even before I went, just knowing like kind of your preface, like we're gonna take it slow, whatever, because I mean, yeah, people there, they're beasts, bro. I literally walked in, I was like, all right, y'all killing it. Like, I literally could just, like, not in a creepy way, just, like, watch you guys. I'm like, you guys are amazing. So then going in, then especially, like, the coaches, literally immediate, that, like, just, like, the welcoming, that was really, really cool. And then, so, yeah, I think just going in from that, obviously, being a little nervous, especially for, like, the workouts in general, because I didn't go to I just canceled my Planet Fitness membership, like, that I didn't use in, like, months. So kind of, like, your first time experience, haven't been in the gym in a while. And then obviously, like, the different workouts, there were some workouts that I don't think I've done before, even the warm-ups, but that was just, I think I was just taking it all in at that point. Like, I wasn't even, like, building opinions. Like, I was just like, this is, I'm just, going with the flow. And then I think obviously the first time I was at the end, I was like, and I'm dying, I'm actually dying. It's so funny though, because I remember I was like on the bike and I was like, all right, yep, this is the last you're gonna see of me. I'm a goner.
What's so funny is that you did not show it. I'm a goner. I'm literally sitting there and I'm like, wow, she's doing really good.
No, I'm a goner.
She doesn't even look like she's breaking a sweat, and you're just on the bike.
Like, I'm like, I'm a goner.
You hide it so well. And then for me, when I'm dying, I'm like, I'm like dripping sweat on the floor.
Oh my gosh, yeah, no, so then I remember I was just like slowly slowing down. I was like, all right, Hannah, I'm gonna need you to help a girl out. And he did. And then it was so funny though, because then like after I was like on the floor, like, all right, dead. And then I think like literally just had a little bit of water. The workout finished. I was like, all right, let's go. Like, I'm chilling. Like, I was just like in the moment. I was like, yep, I'm gonna throw up and die.
You just need a moment to get your heart rate back down.
Exactly. And that's exactly what it was. And I was like, great, loved it. And it wasn't even like the mental side of it, like you were saying, was crazy too. Like, even just leaving, like, that's one thing I love about just like moving your body. It's just like, I moved my body. Good. Like, it's just kind of that like satisfying feeling. Yes, that accomplished feeling. I was like, I did that. Like, yay, love that.
And you did it going into a really scary, intimidating environment and crushing it for the first time. Like, there are so many people that wouldn't have even gone near a CrossFit gym, which is why I love that our gym does the buddy days. I don't know another gym that does that. One of my other gyms that I was that I went to when I was in college, they did like a friends and family day once, and they brought in so many people, but they don't do it like on a monthly basis. Because for me, I'm like, unless you know someone in CrossFit and like you get into like there's not going to be a lot of people that are just going to walk into a CrossFit gym and be like, oh, maybe I want to do this, because it is from the outside looking in very intimidating and scary. And it's like, you need buddy days like that where you can bring people in and show them the whole story and what it really is and how much fun it can be. Or else, like, there's not going to be a lot of people that want to join the sport. I really wish that more gyms would do that. I really do.
No, it's so cool. And because, again, like, I would have lliterally never, because especially your girl being unemployed right now, like, I would have never been, like, that's what I'm saying. The only reason I did was because of that. Yeah.
And our coach is one of my favorite coach Tammy. She's amazing. And I remember every time it's a buddy day, like, or when a buddy day is coming up, she's like, guys, invite someone. She was like, it could change someone's life.
It's so true.
And it changed my life. And I have friends that I brought with me, and now they do CrossFit, and it's changed their life. And it's like, literally just bring someone in and you never know. Yeah. You never know. And some ways that's the only way that people will ever be introduced to the sport in the proper way. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, and I think it's so cool, kind of like your experiences, like almost just how you kind of struggled then, or even how you helped me, is that you have that like kind of idea of like what it's like to be that new person too, and just like comparing that to like all areas of life, even whether it is like your eating disorder or whatever, like how your experiences can be used for others, even if it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So anyway, I just want to say that was really cool. But then of course I went to like the second, and then recently the third, and so fun. I feel like the more that I go, you just like, I know what to expect, and then I can kind of just like appreciate different things, because it's not just so much like obviously it's learning new things, but it's like, oh, I know how to do this, like then I can like actually enjoy what I'm doing, you know, which is so fun. And then especially just like the coaches being like so kind. I remember the first time it was like push-ups, and I was like, all right, bro, like, your girl, not a pusher upper. And he like lifted the bar, but I love too, because he lifted the bar pretty high, and like I was doing it, and then he didn't just like, all right, let her do her thing. It's the first day. He's like, lower it a little bit, and I couldn't do it when I lowered it, but I would have never done that for myself. That's something like when I was in Planet Fitness, like I wasn't pushing myself. Exactly. And it's just that like and it's in such a kind way,
Yes.
you know, or even if like you're not doing something right, it's just having that other like almost a mediator.
Yes.
Like, hey, you can do
and
more.
And that's what I love, because when
cool.
you start to get to know the coaches and they start to get to know you, they start to learn you and your limits and also when to push you. So, you know, there's been times where the same coach that you're talking about, there was a day where I had like loaded up the barbell and I was going to do this movement, but he, for like a workout or something like that, and he saw like, I don't know if it was my body language or like my facial expressions, but he could tell that I was really nervous, and he literally took the weight off of the bar and he was like, if you're not there mentally, you're not going to get there physically. And he was like, so let's lower the weight and focus on form and do it that way. And it was the right move. And then there's been other days. This was an experience at my gym in Lakeland. The coach literally put weight on my bar. He was like, you're holding yourself back. Like, you need to do more. You can do more. So it's just like moments like those where you're not going to do that for yourself.
Right.
Like, you don't know a healthy
Especially you
gauge.
get in your head. You're not going to, like, you need that outside perspective
of
someone kind of seeing what you're doing,
like,
what
okay,
you can
maybe
do.
Don't do this. Let's be smart. And also on the days where, like, come on, girl. You can lift that weight. You can do that. You can do that movement.
Yeah.
You know, or when they see you, you know, oh, sorry, I just hit my mic. It probably just, like, serious ASMR just happened. Like, you know, when they see you doing a movement and then they're, like, changing the workout for you in the workout. Like, okay, we need to make this easier, or, hey, let's bump it up a little bit and let's make it harder. Or even,
like, form and stuff. Like, I remember, like, the feeling to the completely different. I would be like doing it. He's like, all right, you're doing that. Like, let's do something different or whatever. And then you immediately, I'm like, oh, now I feel it. Like, wait, actually, like, it's crazy how a little movement difference can change it all. For. Yeah.
Which it's like those little changes, that's what yields results down the road. And when you don't have that in a regular gym, if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't have a coach, you don't know what to gauge, you're brand new. You're not going to do it right. You're not going to be consistent. You're not going to get results. You have a higher risk of injury.
Right.
You're throwing money down the drain. Right. So that's why CrossFit, because like you're putting in, it's an investment in yourself. And the way that I look at it is like, I'm paying more money now, but I'm going to have less hospital bills, less doctor's bills down the road. You know what I mean?
That's
like
a good mindset,
I'm investing in myself to yield a greater reward than what I'm putting out.
Right.
And ultimately, because my body is a temple, it's worth it. My health is worth it. My strength is worth it. So it's like, I'm paying for the coaching. I'm paying for the programming. I'm paying obviously for the access to the equipment and, you know, where you're working out. I'm paying for the having that community aspect of it. And it's unlike any other experience. It really, really is. I feel like it's so different from any other sport. There's just so many fun things about it. And the reason why, and I know it's intimidating for other people, but the reason why I want to get across is that it is for everyone, is because everything is scalable and modifiable, and you can attest to that, right? Yeah. When me and you, we're going in and doing the same workout, but it doesn't look the same, right? Like, because we're on different levels, or with different skill abilities, and that's totally okay. The way my workouts looked like when I first started look totally different now.
To now, yeah.
Right? Like when I first started, I could not do a knee push-up. I couldn't even do a knee push-up.
Right.
I couldn't do a ring row, like a scaled version of a pull-up. I could barely run. I could barely squat. And it's like now I can do multiple pull-ups.
Yeah.
And I can squat my body weight, and I can do all these different things. And so when I tell people, I'm like, yeah, like the workout from the people that are posting, like we said, you compare yourself to someone who's in chapter 40 of their book to your chapter 1.
Yeah, that's good.
And not only are the books, like, you're in different chapters, but they're different books written in different languages. That's how, like I say, like, that's how silly the comparison is, to compare yourself to someone on that level.
Right.
You know, so, but those are typically the people that are posting. You don't see a lot of people posting from the beginning, which I wish more people did. And I've seen a couple of CrossFit girlies that are posting like kind of the beginning parts of their journey, but you know, like you're doing every single movement. The hardest movement is able to be taken down and it's able to be scaled back. It's able to be modified, lighten the weight, make the movement easier, adapt it to whatever you can do. And then eventually as you get stronger, you'll be able to put more weight on the bar. As eventually as you get used to that movement, like for example, a jump rope is a great example. Like you start with single unders, right? You're just jumping with a rope under one time, and then eventually you can go to double unders where you're jumping the rope, 2 times. And it's like, start small and you can build up. But there is not one single person that the sport is not for. I see people in wheelchairs doing CrossFit. I see people in their 60s, 70s, 80s doing CrossFit. I see people that are like, you know, there's opposite sides of the spectrum, people that need to put on weight and people that might be trying to lose weight, and the workouts look different for them depending on whatever they need. Like you get met exactly where you're at.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter where you're excuse me, what stage of your CrossFit journey you're in. You can start.
Yeah.
There, like you see a movement done by an elite person, you're like, well, I can't do that. And it's like, yeah, you're not supposed to be able to do that right now. Let's scale it back to the beginning and work our way up. And the problem is people don't see that unless you go through an experience like what you have done, where you're like, oh,
and see the modifications and how,
this is attainable. Yep. I can do this.
Yeah.
I can't do it at that person of that level, but they've been doing it for years.
Right.
I'm not supposed to be able to.
Right.
But the sport meets you where you're at, and a lot of people just don't see that side of it. Right. And I wish that they did.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think that has definitely been, like, just like I said before, like, the difference between my gym experience and CrossFit. Yes. Like, in almost every aspect of the word, except, like, moving your body, like, it's huge.
Yeah. So
grateful and so excited for today.
I'm so excited for today. So that was our CrossFit episode. Yeah, why
one
CrossFit? One of many, you guys. But let us know if you have ever done CrossFit. Are you interested? Do you find it to be really intimidating?
Yeah.
Your and if you know us, let me know. You can come to Buddy Day with us.
That's so true. If you know us,
ATC Day, ATC CrossFit Day.
That'd be so fun.
All right, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day. Go move your body if you haven't. Go take a walk outside.
Yeah.
Go honor
God.
Get those arms strong for the tasks that you have at hand.
Amen and amen.
Have a wonderful day.
Bye, guys. Bye.